the Supreme Court has refused to hear the DACA appeal that the Trump administration was hoping to rush through, because when Trump soullessly and illegally ended the DACA program set into place under President Barack Obama's administration that protects dreamers. I'm sure I don't have to explain any of what a dreamer is or DACA is to any of you. I'm sure you all know it by now. But they were trying to get it through the Supreme Court as a way to fast track this legislation through, because Trump set a March 5th deadline, basically saying if you don't come up with some kind of plan by March 5th, all these kids are at risk of deportation. So the Supreme Court refused to hear the case, which means it's being sent back down to an appeals court in San Francisco. Now, I'm sure it goes without saying, I mean, obviously, that San Francisco is a little bit more liberal than I'm sure Donald Trump would like. I believe one of the judges in San Francisco was it could have been one of the judges that was previously, well, I do know this, that the San Francisco appellate court, the federal appellate court, has already voted against a few of the Trump proposals or gutting the regulations Obama set into place. So, and typically this isn't like a normal process. So the Supreme Court was like, yeah, we're not making an exception for you. You have to go through the whole legal process. And if it isn't settled, so basically in this case, all the federal courts have ruled this as like not something that can go into effect, basically. And all of the people that are at risk of facing deportation at some point because of Trump will at least be safe until 2018, because by the time the Supreme Court would hear this case, assuming that the San Francisco appellate court does indeed rule like the court before them that this is a unconstitutional or unlawful provision to put into place, especially unilaterally by the president, you just can't do that. So they'll have at least until 2018. The Supreme Court could hear it in the fall. They would end up releasing the decision in 2018, which is why it doesn't matter really what time this year they hear it, because the schedule or the calendar is full for essentially the rest of the year. So that's just good news for DACA kids for now. I'm rooting for all of you guys. I think it's absolutely insane and preposterous and disgusting that anybody would have the audacity to say that if you've been a contributing member to our society and this, place we're supposed to call the melting pot of the world, if we're trying to tell you you don't belong here when you most certainly do, when many of you are enrolled in college or serving in the military, when 0% of DACA recipients have committed a felony, I think you've shown us, all Americans, that you belong here. And I'll leave it at that.